Pilipino, di dapat isang tabi. Magandang katangian, man ang kayamanan, kamatang Pilipino, pag-asa ka ng bayan. Isigaw mo ika'y Pilipino, saludo ako sa kahusayan mo. Isigaw mo ika'y Pilipino, saludo ako sa katapangan mo. Ano ang pagsubok ay handa mong harapin, pagkat ika'y Pinoy at ay titiisin. Likas sa'yo ang pusong pagmamahal. Isigaw mo ika'y
Hello, good evening. Happy Friday. Welcome back to our episode of Ask Happy FB Live. Let's talk about homeschooling. In this episode, episode 4, Pakabet Mo, Homeschooling During a Crisis. I'm Lenny Yusay, joining you from Pasig, your happy president, homeschooling for 8 years, mother of 3. To all our parents and kababayans watching, please comment in the section where you are watching this episode from. And joining me tonight are, of course, my lovely, amazing ladies, Au and Beday. Hi, Au. Hi, Beday.
Hi, Lenny.
Hi,
Hi,
Lenny. Hi, Al.
Good evening,
Please
ladies.
yourself, ladies.
I'll go ahead, Beday. Hey,
Yes,
I'm Audrey
please.
Villegas, also known as Teacher Al. I am also one of the provider under Peniel Integrated Christian Academy of Rizal. I am currently in Hala Rizal right now. So hope to see you. I hope to see you all today.
Hi,
Hello.
Beday. Thank you, Teacher Al.
Hi. Thanks, Al. Good evening, everybody. Kamusta na po kayo? Ako naman po si Beday Fortuna. Dati po akong happy president nung unang panahon. Siguro mga no, right after COVID. Yun yung aking presidency right after COVID. I think it was 2022 to 2023 and then 2023 to I think about May of 2024. Ayan, ako naman po ay nandito sa aming farm sa Nueva Ecija. Kaya pag meron po kayong maririnig ng mga aso, marami pa akong dogs. I have 16 dogs. Kaya pag meron po kayong narinig na tumatahol, please forgive them kasi ang cute naman po nila.
Wow, pareho yung nasa farm, yung isa sa Pililla at yung isa nasa Nueva Ecija. Ako na lang yung nandito sa City Farm. Thank you, Au, and thank you, Beday. We'd also like to welcome our two guests joining us tonight in our conversation. First of all, we have Zen Hakalan. Zen, hi Zen. Let me introduce you, Zen. Zen is a wife, a homeschooling mom of 2. She's also the directress of Living Pupil Homeschool. She's very, very passionate about raising children with both heart and skills, equipping families and educators to nurture their character, their competence, and their purpose. Hi, Zen.
Hi, Lenny, and happy birthday. Thank you for doing
Thank you.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Lenny.
Happy birthday, Lenny.
Happy Friday na. Happy birthday pa. Maraming salamat. And of course, joining us also tonight, I'd also like to welcome to this episode, Mark Lopez. Hi, Mark. Are you here?
Hi, Lenny. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Mark. I'd like to introduce Mark. He's the president and founding director of Lamplight International School. Mark is married to Margot and they have 6 beautiful children. He's also an author, an international speaker, and of course, a retreat facilitator. Thank you, all very much for joining us. Both of them, Al, Mark, actually all of us, Mark, Zen, Bede, and Al are members of the board of Happy. So, guys, what is this episode all about? First of all, we are here to talk about who or what is Happy, what we do, and who are our members. We will also be talking about the challenges we face today and the nation's two biggest crises, the education and the energy or the fuel crisis, and of course, how homeschooling fits in the picture. So let's jump in. Very briefly, sino ba si Happy? Sino ba yan sila? I think uh, Teacher Au, Teacher Au, magpe-present ka mamaya kung ano yung milestones. But very briefly, Happy is registered under the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's a non-profit advocacy organization of all homeschooling leaders here in the Philippines, and they work together to help grow the Philippine homeschool movement. So since then, what has Happy done? Teacher Al, maybe you can share us some of the milestones of Happy para makilala naman tayo.
Hello po, good afternoon, good evening everyone watching. Okay, sino nga ba si Happy? Actually, Happy started way back 2009. Edric, our founder, he started everything. He called all the leaders, mga homeschool leaders, kasi back then, it's so difficult to have a homeschool community, and it's so difficult then to get a certain permit for homeschooling since hindi nga siya very popular at that time. So, Edric called all the Happy leaders and movers. So, this is how we started the Happy. Then way back 2010, May 2010, we have the first Homeschool United Family Day celebration. Then at October 2010, this is we formally launched Happy to our third homeschool conference. And from January 2011 to 2015, we had a series of projects like Homeschooling Roadshow, and we also have a music and arts festival celebration, Bible festival, and we have the 4th, 5th, and 6th homeschool conference. And in March 2017, with the help of Donna Simpao, March 3 specifically is our National Homeschool Day enacted by Senator Kiko Pangilinan. This is the act known as the Homeschooling Day. And on October 17, 18, and 19 is the series of another homeschool conferences. And in August 2019, this is the time when we collaborated with DepEd. The Department of Education crafted the revised homeschooling guidelines framework with the help of Happy members. And during the pandemic, March 2020, this is the time that we have several talks during how to help the public school parents and families during the pandemic for how to go about homeschooling. And during the series of 2019, 2020, and 2021, we all collaborated with DepEd for the framework of now what we call the homeschooling guidelines, which is the DepEd Order Series 1 series of 2022, known as the homeschooling policies and guidelines. And currently, from 2020 until now we are still helping families, schools about homeschooling. That's all for all.
Ayan. So, since 2009 pa pala yung Happy, and then ever
Yes.
since up until today, we have been very instrumental in helping a lot of families here and abroad about their homeschooling issues and concerns. So what do we actually do? Maybe Beday will share what we do and what we do not do. Ayan, take it away, Beday.
Thanks, Lenny. Yes, it's my pleasure to share with everybody kung ano naman po yung ginagawa ng Happy. So, madali lang pong matandaan kung anong ginagawa ng Happy. Let's look at the letters that stand for Happy, that make up Happy, H-A-P-I. So, H stands for help. Okay? So, help equip leadership with trainings, workshops, and consultations. Yung A naman po para sa awareness. And so, Happy builds awareness for homeschooling through SOCMED and conferences. Yung P po, partner with DepEd and liaise, collaborate, and engage with the Department of Education to create and maintain a homeschool framework. At finally, letter I, ang ibig sabihin po naman nito ay interact. interact with other members to exchange and share best practices, and build network with other happy members. So iyan po ang ginagawa ng happy. But what do we not do? Okay, so kanina po sinabi ko kung anong mga ginagawa ng happy. Ngayon naman po, ano po ba ang mga hindi ginagawa ng happy? We are not a homeschool provider. Sorry po, we do not offer homeschooling. Kasi po, ang happy ay isang umbrella organization. So, kadalasan po, ang mga tanong dun sa messenger ng happy is magkano po ba ang tuition? Kailan po ba ang start ng classes? Pasensya na po, hindi po kami homeschool provider. We don't offer homeschooling. Ang happy po ay isang umbrella organization ng mga leaders ng homeschooling dito sa buong Pilipinas. Okay? At susunod naman po, ang gusto kong i-discuss sa inyo ay who our members are. Okay? So Marcus, can you help me please? Share with everybody kung sino-sino ang mga members ng Happy. Let's watch this slideshow. Alright, so isa-isahin po natin. Ito po ang mga members ng Happy. Ang ibig sabihin po kapag member ng Happy is that they have gone through a process of verification, of validation through the Happy membership. Okay, so sila po ay mga accredited na homeschool providers. Alright, so ito po. Catholic Filipino Academy Homeschool. Diyan po nag-homeschool ang mga anak ko. Homeschool Global, Pinyal Integrated Christian Academy of Rizal, Living Learning Homeschool, Lamplight International School, yan po yung homeschool ni Mark, Gopala Learning Haven. Next slide, Marcus, please. We have the Living Pupil Homeschool. Yan naman po ang homeschool ng ating bisita ngayon, si Miss Zen Hakalan. Kairos Homeschool Academy, Prince of Peace Integrated School, Seton Home Study School, International British Academy, GSL Connections Learning and Developmental Center, PAREF Schools, School of Tomorrow. Next slide, please. We have the Classical Mentor, St. Mary's Angels of Valenzuela, Life Academy International. Ito po ang kauna-unahang college na kasama po sa Happy. And then Casa del Libro. Meron din po tayong mga members na support groups. At ito po ang Homeschoolers of the Philippines, Teen Homeschoolers of the Philippines, and ACDA PH. By the way, ang ACDA PH po, sila po ang ating technical team today. And so, thank you very much, ACDA. Take it away, Lenny.
Thank you. O ayan, nakita na natin kung sino yung mga miyembro ng Happy. You can reach them through their SOCMED pages and websites and learn more about them, yung tuition fee, kung anong klase ng homeschooling style yung ino-offer nila. And then also, we will feature them one by one in our future Ask Happy episodes. So now that we have established who we are, pag-usapan natin, ano ba yung sitwasyon natin ngayon sa Pilipinas? Okay, we are in a crisis. So first of all, parang pandemic ulit, no? Hindi makapaglabas lahat halos ng mga bata, yung mga anak ko actually nasa online lahat sila, di sila pumupunta sa kanilang mga eskwelahan. So just like the pandemic, how did you do during the pandemic? How did you make sure that your learners are actually learning at home? And maybe we can ask Zen and Mark, during the pandemic, how was schooling like in your own homes?
Okay, I remember during the pandemic, parang mas nag-enjoy yung anak ko. Nagtatanim kami. Kasi hindi makalabas eh. So there's so much time na, okay, pag may vacant time, okay, what should we do? So at that time, I remembered my firstborn was still mga 8, 9 years old. So yun, ang dami naming, naging plantita ako. Siya naman, he learned how to plant yung mga herbs, onions, garlic, and all these things. It was fun. It was fun nung time ng pandemic.
How about you, Mark? Ikaw naman, what was your life like during the pandemic?
You know, the big difference, I think, of the pandemic and the situation today is during the pandemic, you really couldn't get out of your homes. Eh. So parang you were forced to, stay at home. And what was nice about it is, like Lenny shared earlier, Margot and I are blessed with 6 kids. No, we have 2 girls and 4 boys. And during the pandemic, some of them were still about to graduate from college. The other were in high school, elementary. And so the nice thing about being together at home is that you had ate and kuya helping the younger ones, no? Helping us with their homework, with learning, and then we had a lot of time for family games, no, for bonding. And see, Margot, my wife, also like Zen became a plantita, so everybody was there. It was into planting, and we had more chores to do because we were together, and it was exciting to see the kids learn new skills, like our boys especially, who are normally our eaters. Some of them became our in-house chefs. So it was fun. Challenging but fun.
Wow, sarap naman yan. Sana maimbitahan ko yung mga chef mo dito sa aking sariling bahay. So we'd like also to say good evening to our viewers right now, si Mami Nemarlene, Argely, and Mami April, and Mami Maria. Hello po sa inyong lahat. So kayo po, ano po sa tingin niyo yung mga struggles niyo noong pandemic? You can put that in the comment section. But right now, we are actually having and facing almost the same crisis. Kaya lang sa fuel lang. We can't go out as much as we want frequently. Actually, nakikita namin sa EDSA. Parang pagong yung mga kotse. Ayaw tumapak ng kanilang mga accelerator kasi sayang yung gasolina, di ba? So, maybe a little bit not as similar as that of the pandemic, but we still can't go out as much. We can't go out to Baguio, di ba? Ang init-init, pero hanggang dito na lang muna sa Manila. So, same impact on the economy. And with what's happening now, our education sector is actually very much affected. So, lahat ng mga bata ngayon, online, digital, remote, hindi pwedeng pumunta sa kanilang mga paaralan. And I think it extended even until May of 2026. So, the school of my children, they are online up until May. So, kayo po sa ating mga audience ngayon, sa mga viewers natin, ano po ba yung situation natin? Ganyan din po ba kasama ng aking mga anak at para sa amin? Ganon din ba sa amin? So, may isa pa po tayong crisis, hindi lang po sa fuel at energy. Meron din sa learning at saka sa education, which I think as mommies and as parents, we are all very much concerned. And as educators, ito talaga yung focus natin, ano? So we have a learning crisis as of this time. EDCOM2 just actually released their report. And I'd like to share that medyo nakakadismaya yung narinig natin na report. I think Beday can share some of the statistics that we've learned so far, Beday, about our education crisis in the Philippines.
Yes, I'd be glad to, Lenny. Marcus, can you please help me? So, okay, unahin po muna natin. Bago po lumabas yung EDCOM2 results, there was a very important metric that DepEd came out with, and that is yung functional literacy ng mga Pilipino. Okay, so before we talk about what is the functional literacy situation in the country, pag-usapan po muna natin kung ano bang ibig sabihin ng literacy, ano po ba yung functional literacy vis-a-vis the basic literacy, ano po ba yung old definition at ang current definition. Okay, so I have a slide here. So can we go to that, please? Ayan, so kung makikita po ninyo, sabi dito, old and current definitions of basic and functional literacy. So punta po muna tayo dun sa before 2024, meron po tayong tinatawag na old definition. Kapag sinabi po natin na basic literacy, ang ibig sabihin lang po nito, kapag marunong kang magbasa at sumulat, ibig sabihin literate ka. Okay? Or you have basic literacy. Okay? Kapag naman functional literacy, old definition, sabi niya po, parang higher to, no, in terms of definition. Sabi niya, kailangan marunong kang magbasa, kailangan marunong kang sumulat, pero kailangan marunong ka ring mag-compute. Okay, sino dyan yung mga tinatamaan sa tungkol sa pagko-compute? Okay? Susunod, meron tayong tatlong definitions kasi, no? Letter B, kailangan marunong kang magbasa, magsulat, mag-compute, at mag-comprehend. Ibig sabihin, kailangan nakakabasa ka nga, pero kailangan naiintindihan mo yung binabasa mo. Or letter C, another definition is that you're at least a high school graduate in the old curriculum, that's the basic education curriculum, or at least a junior high school completer in the K-12 curriculum. Ngayon, punta naman po tayo sa bagong definition. Basic literacy, dati can read and write. Ngayon, kailangan marunong kang magbasa, magsulat na may pag-unawa at marunong ka ring mag-compute. Okay? At ang functional literacy naman po, pareho, read, write, compute, and comprehend. Okay, so ito yung magiging framework natin. Ano? Ito yung framework na inilabas dati ng DepEd.
Okay.
Now,
Beday?
let's go. Yeah.
Bete, yung functional literacy ba, ito ba yung parang kapareho ng kung hindi ka functional literate, hindi ka marunong or may struggle ka mag-follow ng written instructions, mag-compute ng basic expenses, magbasa
Yes.
ng medication labels, yung mga sa mga gamot, at saka mag-complete ng mga forms na nire-require ng mga employment or public services. Tama ba ito? Ito ba yung
Yes.
functional literacy na sinasabi natin?
Yes, exactly, Lenny. So, importante yung functional literacy kasi ito yung makakatulong sa atin na gawin yung daily lives natin, hindi ba? Kasi pumupunta tayo sa market, pumupunta tayo sa grocery, pumupunta tayo sa doctor, bumibili tayo ng kung ano-ano, nagpapass tayo ng mga requirements sa government. Kailangan talaga functionally literate tayo. Hindi lang basta yung can read and write, pero hindi naman natin kayang mag-follow ng mga instructions. Alright. Okay, so
Alright.
ano po ba yung nangyari? Can we go to the next slide, please? So, kung titignan natin yung basic literacy, titignan natin, this is a table that talks about our rate of literacy from 1989 to 2024. Kung titignan naman po natin, tumataas naman po, no? By 2019, 96.5% ang merong basic literacy sa sa Pilipinas. At by 2024, 95.1, medyo bumaba, no? Pero kung titignan po natin yung red line, yan po yung red line na nagpa-pertain dun sa definition, current definition. So yung green line, that's the old definition, just can read and write. Ito naman po, yung bagong definition, can read, can write, can compute, and can comprehend, no? Sabi niya po, ngayon, nasa 93.1 lang po tayo. 2019, 89.7. So, mas mababa. So, ibig sabihin po nito, pag kino-compute, tinitignan natin kung sino ba ang may basic literacy sa ating mga Pilipino, mas mataas yung score natin. Pero pag tinignan natin kung sino ang basically literate na mga Pilipino using the new definition after 2024, mas mababa ang score natin. Ngayon, tignan natin kung paano tayo, how did we fare with regards to functional literacy? Can we go to the next slide, please? So, ganun din, dito, from 1989 to 2024. Kung titignan natin, yung green, pataas din naman, hindi ba? Yung red line, pataas din naman. Anong difference ng green line and ng red line? Yung green line, ito yung nagde-define ng functional literacy through the old definition before 2024. So, in 2019, tignan lang natin, 91.6, maganda yung grade natin. 93.1 naman ng 2024. But, if we use the new definition of what functional literacy means, 61.7 lang tayo. Medyo bagsak. Nung 2019, and then 70.8% nung 2024, bagsak pa rin, hindi ba? Kung titignan natin yan sa school grading system natin. So, ibig sabihin nito, mas mababa ang score natin in functional literacy compared to basic literacy. And within the framework of functional literacy, mas mababa ang score natin using the 2024 definition compared to using the definition before 2024. All right? Ngayon, based dun sa punta naman tayo sa susunod na slide. Ito namang slide na to, isang napaka-importanting slide na nakuha natin dun sa report ng EDCOM 2. Okay, yung EDCOM 2 po ay isang komite ng House of Representatives at ng Senate of the Philippines, and they focus on education. So what they do is they get metrics, they make researches, at tinitignan po nila kung ano ba ang score natin vis-a-vis so many different metrics tungkol sa edukasyon natin. At ito sa tingin ko ay napaka-importante. Siguro sa mga susunod, Lenny, we can lift other metrics from the EDCOM 2 report. Pero sa ngayon po, ito muna. So, I think ang ELNA is English, language, kalimutan ko, sorry. Kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng
Literacy and numeracy.
Okay. English, language, literacy, and numeracy assessment. I think that's ELNA. Thank you so much, Lenny. All right. So, kung titignan po natin yung gray, yan po yung importante. Ibig sabihin po nito, sa grade 3, so ibig sabihin po, sa mga estudyante natin, nagkaroon ng malawakang assessment, that means nationwide assessment for grade 3, grade 6, grade 10, and grade 12. For grade 3, yung ELNA yung ibinigay. Okay, it's a standardized test. And then for grade 6, 10, and 12, yung NAT, National Achievement Test. Ano pang mga nakita nating result? Yung sa grade 3, ang proficient lang po na grade 3 students natin ay 30.52%. Sorry. 30.52% po yung nandun sa, tama, sila yung, ulitin natin percentage of proficient. Sila po yung proficient. Ibig sabihin po, 69+ hindi siya proficient. Okay? Naintindihan po natin. Sige.
So parang
Ngayon,
mas madami yung hindi proficient.
Mas marami ang hindi proficient.
Grade
And mind you, Lenny, the definition of proficiency is just getting 75% and above. So in other words, they lump together proficiency and high proficiency. So hindi na nila tinignan kung sino yung nasa 75% lang and a little bit higher and yung talagang mas high performing. So nilump together na lang nila. So I'm really interested in seeing that data. Okay, pagdating naman po sa grade 6, ang proficient lang po is 19.56%. That means more than 80% ng ating mga grade 6 students ay hindi proficient. So mula sa mga bandang 69-point-something% na hindi proficient ng grade 3, pagdating nila sa grade 6, mas lalong tumaas yung mga hindi proficient. Nasa 80+% na. Okay. Pagdating naman ng grade 10, nako, 1.36% na lang po ang proficient. Ang ibig sabihin po nito, more than 98% hindi proficient sa ating mga grade 10. And ito na po ang pinakamasaklap na resulta. For grade 12 NAT results, only 0.475. In other words, it's less than 1% ang mga proficient na mga estudyante natin. So that means 99% ng ating mga estudyante na grade 12 ay hindi proficient. So titignan po natin ng mga anak natin, saan po kaya sila dyan pumapasok? Dun sa proficient or dun sa hindi proficient?
Beday,
Kung titignan po natin, yes.
help me understand this one. So,
Yes.
ibig sabihin ng data na ito galing sa EDCOM 2 is that
Yeah.
yung grade 3, 30% lang yung highly
Proficient.
or proficient to
Yeah.
highly proficient. But 70% halos hindi siya proficient, no? Hindi marunong magbasa, magsulat, or hindi pumasa sa marks. Tama, no? Hindi
Yes,
pumasa sa
correct.
marks. Ito na lang. Kasi
Oo.
may mga standardized assessments tayo.
That
So,
means, Lenny, they scored
level
74. That means, Lenny, they scored 74% and below.
and below. Correct.
Yeah.
So, pero pagdating ng grade 6, which is just 4, 5, 6, 3 taon, no? Na
Yeah.
umakyat sila ng grade, naging 19.56% na lang. So, yung passing grade Doon sa passing grade, 20% lang yung pumasa sa NAT, National Assessment Test
Yeah.
yata ito, di ba, na kinukonduct.
Correct. Yeah,
Ang
yeah.
masigla,
National
pagdating ng
achievement.
grade 10, after almost 4 years ulit, ng pagsisend natin sa mga anak natin sa school, ang nakapasa na lang 1%. Nakakadismaya naman. And then ito pa, pagdating naman ng grade 12, halos parang 4 out of 1,000 students. Tama ba? 4 students out of the 1,000 students, they only master the foundational skills.
Yes, yes. That is
Oh,
so sad. Kung titignan niyo po yung line dun sa grade 12, kung titignan niyo po, halos hindi na nga makita yung line, di ba? Parang
Yes.
kumbaga sa typhoon, parang outside of the Philippine area of responsibility na. Di ba? Kasi sa sobrang
What does this mean for us? So, ibig bang sabihin na pag medyo hindi maganda or hindi mo na-master yung foundational skills nung elementary grades ka, kunyari grades 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3 na lang, nagsusnowball yung effect pagdating sa higher grades, grades 4, 5, 6, and then 8, 9, 10, 11. So yung numeracy mo, yung basic literacy mo nung elementary school, pag hindi mo siya na-master, kasi foundational skills nga, so nagka-catch up siya pagdating sa higher years.
ang ibig sabihin nito, habang mula sa grade 3 or mula sa lower years, nagkakaroon na po ng learning gaps ang mga anak natin. And because those learning gaps are not addressed, so when they get to the higher years, remember, we are using a spiraling approach, a spiraling method in our curriculum, di ba, in our educational system. Ang spiraling po, halos pareho rin lang naman ang tinitake up in terms of concept, pero mas nagiging complex yan. So ano pong nangyayari kung halimbawa, meron na tayong learning gaps pagdating ng grade 3 or in the lower years at hindi natin siya na-address at hindi natin napunuan yung gap, as they go to the higher years, mas lumalawak yung gap. So hanggang pagdating nila sa grade 12, hindi na nila halos naiintindihan or hindi na sila talaga nakakapasa dun sa ating National Achievement Test. Something that's really so sad. Yeah, it's really
Yes,
very
that's-
much alarming. It's so sad.
It's
an
alarming
indication-
because
Yeah.
we're only tracking grade 12 students. Paano pagdating ng college?
Exactly. Exactly.
Ano na
Kaya-
mangyayari sa atin yan? The kind and the quality of graduates that we have from the college is not even parang competent enough to be sent to the kind of work that is required or
Yeah.
that is demanded right now. So hindi pa nga tayo dumarating doon sa functional literacy, 'di ba? So even yung mga college students and even graduate degree students may fall under this kasi grade 12 lang yung gintrack pagdating pa ng college papaano na, as you said, the more that you increase your education, it's more alarming because it already caught up doon sa snowball effect nitong learning gaps.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So yung ano natin dyan is papaano yung learning gaps. Pareho ba to sa inyo, yung learning gaps na ito na nakikita nyo, Zen, Mark, at saka Teacher Out? Kasi sila yung may mga schools at saka may homeschool din sila. May physical school, at saka meron din silang homeschool. Is it the same thing that you're seeing with regards to your students and learners?
Yes, actually marami siyang real life story about this. I'll take an example. During the pandemic, di ba no choice kundi lahat ng parents magtuturo kasi nobody can teach. Kasi kung online lang, hindi siya guarantee na you will learn online. So there should be a follow-up at home. And most of the parents found out may mga kids grade 5 na, non-readers pa or cannot comprehend well. So how did we bridge the gap dun sa mga parents na ganon? Ang sinuggest namin, ma'am, let's go back to the basic. Yun talaga you have to really go back and teach them ano po ba yung talagang pinaka-problema ng anak nyo. Kasi most of the time, ang problema sa school setup, di ba lahat ina-address ng mga parents sa teachers na you teach them. then you expect a turnout na everything matututunan nila sa school. But mind you, there are different kinds of learners. Merong fast, may slow, may kailangan ng follow-up. So, yun yung mga crucial na parents should really participate in helping yung mga kids ngayon. During our time, mga panahon natin, di ba? Di ba, kunyari, mahina ka sa reading, automatic by summer, meron kang remedial classes for summer classes. O kaya mahina ka sa math, you are required to take summer classes. And saka most of the time noon, yung mga one-on-one, di ba parents, you always take note na, okay, ma'am, your child is having difficulty with this, kindly assist. Kindly assist. We'll give you activities and some reading materials for your child to read. So yun yung mga way how to bridge the gap. Ang problema lang kasi ngayon, maraming factors affecting the educational system. Diba? Most of the kids now are reliant with the online. Saka hindi na sila yung mga readers kasi most of them nakatutok sa internet. So yun pa, yung mga factors na yun. And most of them puyat sa gabi kasi kaka-online ng late sa gabi. So as parents, we should always guide our children and check every day. Check means na hindi mo lang sasabihin na, what did you learn today? But frequently talk to them and know ano na talaga yung mga learning ng mga anak mo. In terms of life skills, in terms of academics, everything, you need to ask them para alam mo kung nasaan na talaga yung mga anak mo.
Ikaw, sa tingin mo, Zen, pareho ba din ba yan sa inyo at saka Mark?
Oo. Sa amin naman, based on, I was looking when Ma'am Bede was sharing the data. Actually, I remembered she shared that with me nung paglabas. It was really parang heartbreaking kasi nga, I was thinking kasi at that time while reading the data na parang, anong mangyayari? Ito yung next batch of doctors natin, teachers natin, and if ganito yung proficiency, anong mangyayari? But then, I was looking into our students na mga na nasa elementary, hindi naman hindi naging issue or hindi masyadong concern for us the love for reading, the understanding, and I think it really helps na they are reading living books. So parang na-inculcate the love for learning. Hindi masyado doon na proficiency sa reading, na proficiency. But, ang nakita namin upon evaluation sa math. Okay, so merong gap sa math. Habang tumataas yung grade level, okay, merong gap na nangyayari sa math. And I want to encourage then the parents na if, like ako, honestly, I'm not good at math. Yan yung pinakaayaw ko. And sometimes as homeschooling parent, napapasa natin yun sa mga anak natin. So if you are like me na sa tingin natin, okay, medyo mahina or I find math very difficult, do not be afraid to ask for help. So ang ginawa namin to bridge the gap is we partnered kay Ma'am Beday sa math camp. Kasi they are good at it. Ito yung specialty nila. So, they help us na teach our students sa area na ito. So, kung ano yung gap nila, ina-address. So, a way for us to help our students is to find help na hindi lang sa amin but outside help. So, siguro I can encourage the parents na wag tayong matakot na humingi ng tulong or mag-partner sa somebody who's good at that particular subject.
Ikaw naman, Mark, sa inyo, Mark is based in Bacolod. So, how is the situation there?
In our case, Lenny, I think we have two programs, our on-campus program and then our homeschooling program. You will see, I think, the marked difference between the homeschooling gaps almost wala compared to the ones who are on campus during the pandemic, because mostly the on-campus students, they would use materials that are designed for that require teacher assistance, no, are on campus students. And so during the pandemic, they'd bring their textbooks home, but the assumption was they would have had lectures while going through or using those textbooks. But during the pandemic, the lectures were very limited, and so there was very limited time also to consult with the teachers. Unlike when they're on campus, we only have a 22 to 1 teacher to 22 students ratio. So there's really time for consultation. During the pandemic, wala. So that's the big difference really for parents, even for us homeschooling parents. It's always good to ask the question, the materials you are using, are they self-teaching materials or are they teacher-dependent materials? Because if you mix that up, and you bring in materials that are teacher dependent at home, the gap is going most likely to ano no, to increase or to happen for your kids. Thank
Thank
you.
you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Zenmark and Teacher Au. So, yung tanong sa atin dito, may isang nag-comment. Hello kay Mami Judeline. Good evening. How many respondents were there? And is the total students of the Philippines both private and public? So, based sa EDCOM 2, which is the Second Congressional Commission on Education, the data indicates roughly 28 million student population, so including na siya ng ALS. So, there's a massive public school enrollment, which is 20 to 27 million, and it dwarfs private school numbers. So, this one encompasses all the students in the Philippines. So, this is what they found out. We still have a large learning gap, and then it goes and progresses into adulthood. So kaya nga ngayon pa lang, ang importante, since most of us are homeschooling in the primary years, most of our homeschooling mommies, no, and parents are into the primary year program, this is the best time to actually make sure that our children do not have any learning gaps as well, by making sure that they have mastery in the basic foundational skills, which is in numeracy, yung mga math, 'di ba? English language, or even in our early language, right? And what else? Sciences, kasi yun yung mga importante. And I think Beda shared to me before that even with employers, they now have a different system of recruitment. So even before the interviews happen, even before, after the CVs were already given, the first, I think the first level is that you have an exam, and the exam focuses mostly on numeracy, right, on mathematical skills. So doon pa lang namimili na rin yung mga employers natin. So papaano pa kung grade 12 pa lang, halos apat na lang apat na lang ang pumapasa. So ibig bang sabihin nun, apat lang ang pwede doon sa mga jobs na ino-offer ngayon? That's really something that we have to consider right now as parents. Not just homeschooling parents, but all the parents in general. So, yun po, sana nasagot po namin yung katanungan ni Mami Judeline, no? And then say hi po kami doon sa mga kaka-join lang sa amin. Dito sa Ask Happy episode, si Mami Jeline, Mami Aya, hello, Dara, Mami Judeline, Sherwin Kate, Hannah Marel, and nandito si Mami Therese Chabana ng Cebu. Hello! And then, thank you din, Mami Judeline, for the question. So, bridging the gap for this learning crisis, I agree with the solution given by 3 of our veterans, no? And I remember during elementary, pinapa-summer po kami. Lahat kami na nasa school, may summer kami. It's mandatory because our teachers feel that kulang yung number of days na ginugugol namin sa classroom para po ma-master namin yung mga foundational skills na ito. So I don't know whether you were in my age or in my time, Beday Ao, Mark and Zen, I'm not sure, no, but that's how they did it before in our schools sa probinsya ito, no, sa Legazpi ito. So I'm not sure if that is also the same. Beda, do you have any
Yes. Yeah.
bridging
Oh.
the gap solutions?
Yeah, well, dun muna sa tanong mo, Lenny, no? Ganun din kami dati. Kapag halimbawa mababang grade mo or medyo struggling ka in any subject area, you are required to take summer classes. Kasi yun yung time mo na para ma-bridge yung gap. Okay? Kasi ang framework dati was you have to be prepared for the next school year. Kasi if you're not prepared for the next school year, mas lalo kang mahihirapan kasi nga yung parang may utang ka pa na skills dun sa previous school year. And then here comes the next school year with another set of more complex skills. So paano mo naman siya ma-address kung hindi mo pa nga alam yung mga previous? Okay, so
Yeah, and
yeah.
it doesn't help also, no, that we have lack of teachers. Some of the teachers that were assigned in particular expert subjects have not really graduated from that specific skill. And
Tama.
then wala pa tayong classroom, pangit yung mga classroom ng condition.
Tapos
And
ang
then
ingay-ingay kasi masyadong marami.
yes, yes. Tapos yung ano pa, yung mass promotion, yung may grade
Yeah.
transmutation. I was doing my grades before and then I suddenly realized that we have to transmute the grade. I said, what is this for? Dati yung grades namin, kung ano yung lumabas, yun yung ilalagay mo sa report cards. Pero yun pala yung parang mass promotion na sinasabi, parang no student left behind, which is totally a misapplication of the parang
Concept.
automatic na papapasok ka dun sa next grade level. Tama ba?
Yeah, I think that's tama ka, it's a misinterpretation of the concept of no child left behind. Kasi para sa akin, ang ibig sabihin ng no child left behind is that the entire system, educational structure, kunyari kasama na dun yung teacher, yung administration, and then parents, would work hand in hand para maibigay lahat ng suporta sa isang bata para hindi siya maging left behind. Not necessarily just making sure na pumasa siya kahit bagsak yung grade niya. But it's really providing the support system that's necessary, materials, siguro tutorial, or whatever, kung ano man yung kailangan. Kung merong konting parang emotional problem or whatever, kung ano man yung suporta. So para sa akin, yun ang konsepto ng No Child Left Behind. You give your all so that you can support each and every child para makapasa siya, para maintindihan niya. Not just for them to earn a passing grade, but para maintindihan niya, ma-equip siya ng skills so that in turn they can pass the required skills.
Correct. So, since ang ating episode title is Baka Bet Mo, Homeschooling, isa-suggest na natin yung homeschooling, no, as part of the solution in making sure that there's no learning gaps. So, if you are thanks be to God if you're enrolled in a homeschooling provider right now. But even if you are enrolled in traditional regular schools, your learning and teaching should be intentional in your own home. So maybe Zen, Teacher Au, and Mark can give us some tips kung meron kayong alam. How do they do homeschooling in their own homes kahit na nakapag-enroll sila ngayon sa traditional school? Teacher Au, nakamute ka.
Okay, I'll go ahead. As a parent po, you are qualified to teach your child because we know what's best for them. So if you know naman po na may gaps yung mga anak nyo, try to help them in any way you can. There are times po yung specialty natin as parents may not go hand in hand with what we know. So let's ask help, katulad ng sinabi ni Sen. And as parents po, hindi na naman towards academic lang yung lessons, diba? As a whole, diba, we have to be there with for our kids, for the benefits of our kids. So, personally, I observe yung mga bata po na well loved by their parents. I mean, well assisted in every other way. Yun yung mga batang nag-excel eh. Kasi emotionally, psychologically, andyan kaya as a parent. So, nakikita mo yung progress ng anak mo from the day they were from the day na pinanganak sila until now. Iba nakikita mo yung progress kung talagang nakatutok ka sa mga anak mo. So, we can teach them anything para lang po alam natin kung what's best for them. Do not limit yourself na, ay, I'm not good at that. Hindi ko ituturo yan sa anak ko. But there are a lot of people na you can reach out na para lang makita mo, ma-equip mo yung needs na kailangan ng mga anak nyo. So later, wala kang regret kasi ginawa mo lahat para sa anak mo.
Right. Maybe Mark and Zen also, do you have any tips?
Zen, you can go ahead.
Okay. Sige, ako naman, even if you're not homeschooling, I would like to encourage the parents to enjoy learning together with their children. I've read kasi, nababasa ko sa Facebook at even sa mga groups na I join, most ng mga concern talaga ng parents na yung mga anak nila 4 years old, 5 years old, tinatanong palagi, saan ko ba pwedeng i-enroll yung anak ko para turuan kong magbasa? Because I want them to learn how to read. So I think more than teaching our children how to read, it is important for us, homeschooling or not, to read aloud to our children. More than napapaisip lang ako na, diba, there was a time, I think until now, ba Teacher Au, na hindi pwedeng mag-grade 1 ang bata until dapat marunong na siyang magbasa. Diba?
Yeah, no read, no booth.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, dapat marunong na siyang magbasa before siya mag-grade 1. And diba, we focus on this. Somehow, dito nakafocus. So, I think the focus dati was the technicality on how to teach reading. And it's not working. Kasi nakita natin sa data, pwedeng marunong magbasa, natuto na sila, but ayaw nilang magbasa. They don't love to read and they don't enjoy it. So, more than the technicality, siguro it's best to read aloud to our children. And as parents, let's be intentional on this na tayo, we will enjoy the book together with our children, reading aloud to them. And ako, I'm just gonna share quickly, yung anak ko na 6 years old, I've been reading aloud to her since maliit pa siya talaga. And ako na ang nagulat, without teaching her talaga the CVC, ako na ang nagulat na marunong na siyang magbasa. Okay, just by reading aloud. So it's important na we enjoy reading good books, not just any books, but reading good books together with our children.
How so true, no? Yung reading good book. So, it's not just the child should be interested in the book. Dapat yung mommy or daddy din interesado sa librong binabasa. Tama, no? Kasi otherwise, the child can pick that up na nire-read aloud nga ako pero hindi naman siya interesado sa binabasa niya. So, dapat it's an enjoyable experience for both the parent and the child. And the discipline and the habit of reading together is a great way to actually make our children readers. And pati spelling na rin yan, kasama na yan pagdating, no? Develop yan Habang nagbabasa ka, nalalaman mo yung mga words, yung mga spelling. So, tamang-tama yan. I agree with that. I used to read also to my children when they were young, and I have to buy certain topics or certain books na wala naman akong interest. Pero since interesado sila, they want to read it. Right? I'd like to say hi to our, wow, nandito sila naka-tune in. Hello! Si Teacher Jeline. Hello! Si dating press, Laxmi Maluya is here also joining us. And hello to Mami Ja and Mami Judeline as well. Hello kay Miss Christina and Mami Jen. Hello, good evening. So, nagsabi din lang sa atin ng isa sa mga parents dito, si Mami Ja, is that yung No Students Left Behind daw is giving interventions needed sa mga learners na medyo hindi nakakasabay. That's correct. So it's a misapplication of the No Students Left Behind. So yun talaga yung dapat na intention, bibigyan ng intervention yung mga learners na hindi kinaya. Right? So Also dito yes, we also miss you. Missing the happy community daw. We also miss you guys. And doon naman sa ating mga parents na naka-tune in sa atin, maybe you can also put in the comments, what advice would you give to make sure that homeschooling, even if they're not homeschooling, would be practiced in your own home? So just put it down, because why? We are giving away, ayan na, 2 great books on homeschooling. Paki-flash nga niyan. Anong mga libro ba to? So yung pipiliin namin ng mga comment at tips kung papaano nyo mabibigyan ng flavor ng homeschooling sa inyong mga bahay, bibigyan po namin ng tig-isang libro. One from I Homeschool by Novitan, and the other book is Why You Should Homeschool by Edric and Joy Mendoza. O ayan, mag-comment na po kayo kung ano po yung pupwede niyong mabigay na tip in making sure that these learning gaps are also bridged. And then maybe we will also have another Ask Happy episode so that we can invite guests to share more about homeschooling tips, what worked, how did homeschooling help, why did you choose homeschooling, and what benefits did it actually give you and your family. Alrighty. Magsisay hi na rin ako dito sa kina Mami Shara, Jen, Esme, Luvim, and Karen. Na-miss din namin kayo. So, na-miss nyo pa kami. So, comeback episode po namin agad. So, don't worry. We will have another episode very, very soon. And we're already developing the next topic that is appropriate and apt for this season of our lives. So, maybe, if they have just tuned in, what is one takeaway from this episode? Sisimulan ko kay Ma'am Beday. Beday, what is that one takeaway that they need to make sure remember from this episode?
Kanina sabi ni Au, hindi lang naman, let's not just look at proficiency in terms of academics, kundi yung building also the character of our kids, at yung iba't ibang aspects ng life nila, spiritual, psychosocial, etc. Sa tingin ko, lahat yan, dahil ang mga anak natin, they're still just growing, and for sure, they will make mistakes, and for sure, magkakaroon sila ng weaknesses with regards to yung mga milestones na iniisip natin as parents, they need to achieve. Maaaring even sa pag-uugali nila, pwedeng sabihin natin na hindi pa siya proficient siguro sa ganitong aspect. Let's say maturity, maybe ability to handle problems, etc. No? Siguro pwede nating isipin na kung merong gap, siguro when we talk about learning gaps, it's not, maybe we can just say it doesn't just focus on the academics. Pwedeng meron siyang learning gap also in other aspects like character development, spiritual development, etc. So siguro ang takeaway ko ngayon sa discussion natin is that pag may nakita na tayong gap, let's address it. Wag na nating upuan. Pag halimbawa may nakita tayong gap sa pag-uugali ng anak natin, kunyari there was an incident, may nakita tayo na may weakness yung anak natin, we can right then and there choose that as a teachable moment na sabihan na natin agad. So let's not wait until all of these gaps balloon and increase. I-address na natin agad. And kagaya nga ng sabi ni Zen, we don't have to do it all alone. We can research, we can get materials, we can ask for help. But we need to address the gaps so that our kids will be equipped, not just in academics, but in life in general.
Great. Nip it in the bud, ika nga. Okay.
Yeah,
How about
right.
Beday? Ay, Ma'am Au. Thanks, Beday.
Di ba sabi ni Beday, bridge the gap as early as possible. So how do we do that? Be intentional, be there for them. Kasi that's the only way how to know it eh. Frequently talk to them. Saka, di ba pag lumalaki yan, nag-high school, nagka-college, medyo hindi na ganun yung So, be a friend to them, talk to them. Kasi doon mo lang malalaman kung ano talaga yung mga kailangan ng anak mo, and you will guide them all the way. So, yun lang, be there for them, be intentional.
Tama yon. So, kahit na sobrang busy tayo, we have to be there for our children. There is no such thing as quality time. Quality is quantity. Di ba? Quality time for them is, yung love for them is time. Time. So, thank you very much, Teacher Au, for sharing that. How about Zen, before yung ating si Mark, si Zen muna?
Okay, for me naman, because we've seen, 'di ba, nakita na natin yung data, and I'm sure we've heard about it before, yung mga gaps ng mga students natin. So seeing this, hearing about this, we can't, as parents, we can't turn a blind eye. Because we're talking to parents ngayon, 'di ba? Our parents, many parents are watching us. So parenting is a sacred stewardship. Yung mga anak natin, in-entrust lang kasi ni Lord sa atin. So yes, we provide for them financially at ano yung mga kailangan nila. But at the same time, let's be more intentional sa learning nila. What are they learning? Ito yung naka-encourage sa akin. There was one person who said, isa lang yung buhay natin. And ito lang yung mga anak natin. So, gagalingan natin as parents.
Ganda naman yan. We cannot replay. Diba? We only have one life to live. No replace. Ikaw,
True.
Mark, ano sa tingin mo? Ano naman ang takeaway mo dito sa episode na ito?
Homeschooling is such a gift, no? This one parent in the chat group asking if she should homeschool her 2-year-old or not. Just this afternoon, I was talking to a mom of 2 kids, and their dad just passed away, I think about 4 years ago. And so she's now a single mom, but she's decided to really homeschool her kids. Homeschooling, I'd just like to share and remind everyone, which is part of the advocacy of Happy, is to understand that homeschooling is not school at home. It is not about doing what's being done in the big schools inside our homes. That is not homeschooling. Homeschooling is discipleship. Homeschooling is parenting. Homeschooling is lifetime teaching. Homeschooling is about life skills. It's about mastery over coverage. And so it is a gift. And I just like to honor all of you moms especially, and also our dads and moms in the chat group who are joining us. If you are homeschooling, I really honor you. You are building our country. You are strengthening the church. You are building God's kingdom by choosing to homeschool. Homeschooling is not for everybody. That's why it's really good for us to pray about it. If it's for us or not, not everyone is called to homeschool. But when you are called to homeschool, know that you don't have to perfect it. You don't have to be a teacher. First and foremost, you have to be a loving mom or a loving dad who cares more for the formation of the heart of your child, and to find ways to make the skill of learning a gift you give them rather than just teaching them a lot of concepts. So again, I honor you all of you homeschooling moms and homeschooling dads, the 4 of you especially, and all who are joining us.
Wow, what a beautiful tribute to our moms and dads. And I agree, no? It is not just about teaching them a lot of concepts and facts and knowledge, but it is really paying more attention. It's being intentional and knowing our purpose, why we are teaching our children. And I believe it's not just academics, but as what Beday said, it's a holistic approach. And I think the moms here in the comment section also agree with me. It's also the values, the culture that we have. So it's a holistic one, whether we are reading aloud, whether we are involving it in our math skills, worksheets, all of those things. It's really a gift to be able to spend time with our children, no, and give our love through learning and education. So for me, I guess the summary that I can give as a takeaway is that, you know, this educator that we also love, Charlotte Mason. She says, education is an atmosphere, a discipline, and a life. So I'd like to make sure that we bring peace into our home in this most difficult time, especially in this crisis. Let it be intentional, let it be meaningful, and let it be accessible. Ayan, maraming salamat for joining us in this episode. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng moms and dads na nandito sa atin, kasama natin. Ang dami nating mga na-receive na mga comments, tips, advice. Mamimigay po kami ng 2 libro na yon. Pipiliin na po namin at i-announce na po namin sa ating Happy FB page kung sino po yung nanalo sa atin ngayong Ask Happy Episode 4. I'd like to thank, of course, our guests, Mark Lopez and Zen Hakalan, for being with us here and sharing their wisdom and their time in Ask Happy Episode 4. Maraming salamat, Zen. Maraming salamat, Mark.
You're most welcome. Happy birthday, Lenny.
Yeah, you're welcome. And happy birthday, Lenny.
Thank you. And I'd also like to thank si Marcus and Mommy Angel because they are our tech team
Thank you.
for making sure that this is live streamed through StreamYard. Maraming salamat sa inyong dalawa. Kung wala kayo, wala kami. O, diba? And of course, I'd like to say thank you so much to our viewers, our mommies and daddies who are with us always. And looking forward to you guys by spending time with you in Ask Happy. Sa mga mommies na dati pa naming kasama, nakikita ko kayo. I appreciate all of you. And I'd like to say thank you. This is Lenny.
This is Beday.
And this is Al.
Happy
Mark.
weekend. God
God
bless
bless
you guys.
Hi,
Thank you.
Lubim.
Bless
Hi.
you. Hi.
Hi,
Very
Tere.
Hi, Julie.
Hi,
My
Lucky.
question actually, may question, Lenny. Lenny, may question.
May question pa, may pahabol.
Sabi niya,
Extension. Sige, extension ng konti.
paano daw kung advance daw yung anak niya? What do you suggest?
Oh, isang
Walang,
question
walang,
na lang.
walang
ha?
gap.
Okay,
Sige.
nag-end na tayo pero sige, pagbibigyan
Nabasa ko
natin.
lang nabasa ko lang, kaya
Okay, so
tinanong ko.
paano kung hindi walang gap yung anak mo? How do you make sure that you support his growth and development? Oh, tag-iisa sa inyo siguro. Mark, ikaw na mauna.
Subscribe to a good platform that can help him advance, and let him buy all the books he wants to buy.
Yeah.
Great advice. Then,
So support, parang ganun din kay Mark. Support ko ano yung passion ng anak natin. So dapat hindi mag-stop yung learning nila.
okay, Beday?
Medyo may konting experience ako dyan kasi mga anak ko, sabi nga nila, advanced, no? Pero siguro sa maraming kailangan gawin. But siguro for me, the most important thing is to just give them a safe space to learn, a stress-free space to learn para lalo pa nilang ma-hone yung yung gifts nila. Wag na natin kasi minsan kasi pag advance ang anak natin, lalo nating inisip na kailangan mag-valedictorian yan or kailangan maging ma-accelerate siya or kailangan magpisa yan or kailangan mag-UP siya. No, I think the most important thing is really to make them just relax and enjoy life. And everything will just be will automatically be fruitful in that regard.
Grabe, ang galing naman nun. Teacher Au?
I would suggest kasi there are cases na highly advanced yung mga bata, hindi parang hindi nakakasabay yung sobrang advanced, 'di ba, na board. Ang usually sinasuggest ko i-homeschool mo para magawa mo lahat yung best para mas lalo pa siyang gumaling ng gumaling.
Correct. Yung temper your expectation ha, hindi masyadong dapat ikaw yung ganyan kasi magaling ka dyan. So having a safe space for our children and making sure that we invest our time, energy, and resources to make sure that they feel that they're being supported. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig. Hello to Tina, Pera, Lucky Joy, Jeline. Hope you
Yes.
can join us all in the next happy episode. Happy weekend. Bye. Totoo na to. Bye, guys!
Bye. Thank you.
Saang dako ka man, galing mo'y di mabantayan. Inspirasyon mo ay ating inang bayan. Ang iyong dugo at pawis ang siyang tunay na puhunan. Kaya aking kabayan, dapat kang hangaan. Sa anumang larangan, lagi kang kumikinang. Pagkat di tinatago, taglay mong kakayahan. Sa palakasan, kagandahan, sayaw awitan. Modernong Pilipino, dapat kang parangalan. Isigaw mo ika'y Pilipino. Saludo ako sa kahusayan mo. Isigaw mo ika'y Pilipino. Saludo ako sa katapangan mo. Ako'y bilib sa'yo sa tatag na taglay mo. Angat ka sa iba pagkat ikaw ay Pilipino. Ako'y bilib sa'yo sa tatag na taglay mo. Angat ka sa iba pagkat ikaw ay Pilipino. Talino at abilidad, di ka pauwi. Ang lahing Pilipino, di dapat isang tabi. Magandang katangian, uman ang kayamanan. Kamatawang Pilipino, pag-asa ka ng bayan. Isigaw mo ika'y Pilipino. Saludo ako sa kahusayan mo. Isigaw mo ika'y Pilipino. Saludo ako sa katapangan mo. Ano ang pagsubok ay handa mong harapin. Pagkat ika'y Pinoy, lahat ay titiisin. Likas sa'yo ang pusong pagmamahal. Isigaw mo ika'y Pilipino. Saludo ako sa kahusayan mo. Isigaw mo ika'y